Ever since I kind of transitioned into Google Ads, I started to notice that there's a lot of e-commerce store owners that do Google Ads right. And there's also a lot of e-commerce store owners that completely just bomb Google Ads. And obviously, I mean, as a smart e-commerce store owner, the best thing you can do for your brand, the brand that you built from day one, is to run advertisements correctly. I mean, what's the point of spending all that money that you're spending currently with Google Ads if you're not gonna do it right, if you're not gonna get the maximum amount of results possible with whatever budget you have? Doesn't matter if it's $50 a day or $5 million a day. You need to know exactly how to do it right. Fortunately, there are a few e-commerce stores out there that are currently using Google search ads the right way. And in this video, we're going to kind of break them down from start to finish and understand exactly what makes a good Google shopping ad, exactly what makes a good Google search ad. Because recently I just realized that on my channel, there's a lot of tutorials on how to launch shopping ads, how to get them going, how to scale, etc., etc. But I don't really go into the ins and outs of each individual shopping ad or each individual search ad, which I find interesting. But before we actually even start breaking each of these down, let's understand first of all what makes a good Google shopping ad, and then we'll progress into figuring out what makes a good Google search ad. So with Google shopping ad, pause this video for 2 seconds. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think personally right now makes a good Google shopping ad. And you'll be surprised that a lot of other e-commerce store owners think about Google shopping ads very similarly like you do. I know I've talked to a lot of e-commerce store owners regularly due to my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing. If you're currently doing around $30,000 or more per month in revenue, you need a little bit of extra help scaling with Google Ads, taking your brand to the next level, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can make it happen. But majority of those e-commerce store owners running Google Ads might say something like a good Google shopping ad is one with a very clear image. Always use lifestyle image or always use white background image because that's what Google says. Forget that random Indian guy on YouTube who says always try to stand out, and then try to make the pricing as low as possible because after all, that's what makes a good Google shopping ad, right? Wrong. If you answered it in a similar way, you're not the only one. Don't worry, because about 95% of e-commerce store owners believe that, and as a result, they end up just being one of the rest. They end up starting these random price wars for some of their best-selling product, resulting in themselves killing their own product, which is just really a shame. But now let me tell you exactly what makes a good Google shopping ad. There are a few key factors which defines a good Google shopping ad. Number one factor is the volume of the ad space. Now, I'm gonna explain what this means with the examples I have. I have multiple different examples, and if you stay till the end of this video, you'll also see a bad example of what you shouldn't be doing, which is, by the way, about 95% of stores out there that are currently doing that. But when I say the volume of ad space, all I'm referring to is how much space you are taking up with Google shopping ads. Now, a lot of you might look at this and you might think to yourself that these all ads which are actually taking up the same amount of space. But the only reason why you really think that is because majority of these ads are doing the right things. However, let's look at this ad right here compared to this one right here. So obviously side by side, you can notice those small little differences, but overall, even though the box size right here is the same, if you look at what this contains compared to what this contains, we can of course first of all see that this one has reviews right here while this one does not have reviews. This one doesn't have any of the return information at the very bottom below the reviews while this one does, but this one has the return information and the reviews. So if you notice when I hover over this, just keep a close eye on this little area right here where the rectangle at the bottom ends. Notice how it ends right there for this one compared to this one where it ends a little bit above where this one ended. So when I say take up as much volume as possible in terms of ad space, that's essentially what I'm talking about. This overall space, when somebody hovers over your ad, how much of the space are you taking up? Are you something that's very small like this, or are you something much bigger like this one right here, or smaller one like this one right here? You can notice a sheer difference between the rectangular size, that is the vertical size of this ad space, and it does make a difference, believe it or not. But in addition, just having more stuff going on here does play a big role in making your ad ad stand out, making your ad appear much bigger than it really is. And of course, doing that involves you applying to some merchant center promotions, reviews, etc., etc. I'll go into the good ads very shortly, but that's really the first step of a good shopping ad. Just have more volume, just take up more space. Second one, obviously, do better SEO techniques than your competitor to really stand out and also help Google's algorithm. So again, majority of these people right here are doing it right. They have the right SEO techniques, and because it does make sense, they're really big brands like Office Depot, Best Buy, etc., etc. They have really big marketing companies kind of backing them up, kind of working with them, which is why they have done majority of these things right. But let's kind of take a look at some of those ads which are appearing maybe more towards the bottom. Let's take a look at their SEO. So in terms of SEO, there's a lot of techniques that go into it. It's basically search engine optimization. It's not just about the volume or what keywords you insert. And by the way, if you notice, none of these big brands have done something called keyword stuffing, where they write each keyword with a comma next to it. That's a no-go from me. And also big brands don't do it, and there's a reason why they don't. It's just unprofessional. But again, overall SEO techniques, just kind of take a close look at what they're doing here. That's one of the factors which defines your success. Third one, image. Of course, image needs to be very big. There's nothing really that I need to go into with that. Just have a different image. We'll go into that in detail with the examples I'm going very shortly. But the next one is the pricing. Of course, without the right pricing, nothing makes sense, nothing matters. You need to have good pricing. You need to practice pricing your product. It's literally a practice that took me months and months before I mastered. Final one, the title. So this is different than SEO, because with the title, it's actually how you make the title, how you display it for the customer and also for the algorithm. So SEO is the algorithm side. The title we didn't really cover was the customer's point of view. So what the customer sees and how it should be for the customer. So that's essentially what makes a good shopping ad. Now let's move on to search ad. What makes a good search ad? So there's a bunch of search ads coming up here. Let's just look at both of these here. First one, again, volume of the ad space. How much is your search ad taking up in terms of space? As you can see, the first ad right here is taking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, while this one is only taking up 3 lines. So clearly, because this is taking up more lines and it has an image right here, this kind of popped out to me more. And Google also notices this, that more customers are kind of interacting with the bigger ad, and they probably have a higher CTR, getting more sales, etc., etc. Hence why they're number one, and this is not number one. So volume of the ad space. Number two, now it's a little bit different for search ads. Number two is the actual copywriting. So how did you do the copywriting? Number three is the SEO. So SEO plays a very big role in a good search ad. Number four is any types of additions. So site link extensions, call out extensions, anything else that you might add to make your ad pop out and be bigger. So those are the things that define a bad search ad from a good search ad. Those are what a good search ad should have. Let's now start looking at our examples. So there is no video out there on my YouTube channel that has gone by without me throwing in a random example of a 3D printer, and this video is no different, because I mean, this is one of the most popular products out there, and there's a lot of competitors, both good and bad, which follow this. So obviously, ad example number one is the 3D printer, but not any type of competitor, not Toy Box, which I always go over in my other videos. This time it's a little bit different. The winner for a good shopping ad in terms of 3D printers is Quill. Now let's go over each one of the metrics which I mentioned, which makes a shopping ad good and makes it stand out. So the first one, volume of ad space. Clearly, as you can see, it's taking up one extra line like Best Buy right here, but Best Buy is really not the winner, and I'll go over why very shortly. But you can see it's taking up one extra line right here, and when we hover over it, it also has this free shipping section right here. It also has this 30-day returns section right here. So clearly it's taking up much bigger space than this ad right here, which is Toy Box. Now Toy Box does do a great job of a good landing page. You can watch some of my other videos where I do go over Toy Box as one of the better stores. In fact, in the video which e-commerce stores went viral, Toy Box was one of them. But in terms of the shopping ad quality, I personally believe Quill is the good one. Again, number one thing it follows is the volume of the ad space. Just side by side, you can see Quill is taking up more space. Number two thing that a good shopping ad should have is SEO. We can see with the overall search engine optimization techniques Quill used, they have the model number right here. They have all of the specific things which a person searching for a similar printer would want to search for. So they're selling an Epson 3D printer. This brand Epson is a very popular brand, and they didn't just put the product's brand right here for any random reason. They did it for a very specific reason, and the reason is Google actually prefers that you have the brand name in there. It makes Google's algorithms life much easier to kind of connect the dots. If I type in Epson 3D printer, this one should be the one ranking in the top areas. So that's why having the brand name and all these model numbers is so crucial when it comes to Google Ads. But again, if we look at Toy Box right here, they just have Toy Box 3D printer, deluxe bundle 3D printer. They repeated the same keyword twice, not really ideal. And there's no kind of model number in there. There's no kind of specifications in there which say if it's wireless or not, all sorts of those important information. Hence why this ad is in front and Toy Box is more on the bottom of the top 5 sections. So Quill does do an amazing job of SEO. Moving on to image. Now, in terms of the actual image, nothing really special was done here, but just getting those first 2 factors right, you can see why Google prefers Quill's ad, why it pumps it in the top 5, in the top 4 even, compared to something like Toy Box, despite Toy Box having a better image. So I really think Toy Box did a great job with the image, but Quill, you know, just with the product itself, it appears a bit different than what I see right here. So that in itself makes Quill's ad kind of stand out, but also the image, you know, very simple image, very straightforward. We know exactly what the product is. The image is taking up a lot of the space. There is no sorts of additional white space around the product. So that's exactly what you want to kind of be aiming at. But again, kind of look at Toy Box as well. Toy Box does a great job with the image. Next thing is pricing. Now with Quill, it's a little bit on the more expensive side, but we can't really say that it's the most expensive because Best Buy right next to it is $1,900. Prusa research right here, $800. So pricing really here doesn't make too much of a difference because each model has some sort of different specification. And by the way, you never want to start price wars when it comes to products. So what Amazon is doing right here, it should only be done if that product is worth that price. So if this model that Amazon is selling is worth $189, then that's what they should be selling it at. But if it's worth $600, there's no way for them, or really the right way for them to be selling it at this price, because it doesn't make sense to do that. It's going to lead them to a loss. It's going to kill everybody else's 3D printers and all sorts of stuff happens. So always with the pricing, make sure it's competitive of your top 5 competitors. So $600, very competitive because some are $1,900, some are $800, some are even, for example, this one $13,000. So pricing, they did get it right, hence why they're in the top 4. But the last one, the title, again, with the title, it's also more optimized for a normal customer. So it's not just a bunch of keywords repeated like Toy Box did right here. There was no reason for them to repeat 3D printer, but they did, and they might have done this for the algorithm side of things. But when it comes to an actual customer, they forgot that a real customer reads the title, not a robot. So that's why you need to kind of make your title more optimized for a potential customer as well. But that's really a good example of a shopping ad. Now, in terms of a good search ad, if we scroll all the way down, we can see there's a lot of different search ads actually appearing for the 3D printer. But if we scroll all the way down, we can see a good 3D printer ad is actually, again, one which follows all of the criteria which I mentioned. And again, if we look right in this section, the one that pops out to me the most is this one right here, the first one by 3D Printers Depot. Again, number 1 is taking up the most space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So the second best is taking up 5 lines. The first one is taking up 6 lines, and this one also taking up 5 lines. So there's a reason why Google put this above these 2 right here, and the overall volume of the ad space is one of them, but also copywriting. So it says browse 3D printers for sale up to 50% off on best sellers. This one, Profound 3D printers and more, shop top rated 3D printers. A lot of repetition here. Mark Ford's 3D printers, a 3D printer for engineers. Again, not everybody who wants to buy a 3D printer is an engineer. For example, if I wanted to buy a 3D printer for fun, I'm not really an engineer, I'm an e-commerce store owner. So this does not apply to me, and boom, right there, they lost me already. But again, volume of ad space, copywriting, this one did it right. They kind of kept things broad, which is what you should be doing. But in addition, SEO. So they repeated 3D printer once, then they had all the other keywords right here, retailer for brands, and they inserted brands names, and they did it on purpose because they want to be ranking for these kinds of keywords. That's why they did it very well. And in addition, all of the extensions, these site link extensions, callout extensions, they have done everything properly, hence why these site link extensions are actually making the ad appear bigger. So this is a very powerful, very successful search ad, which you should definitely be looking into. But that's kind of example number 1 as to what's a good shopping ad, what's a good search ad. Let's move on to example number 2. And this example is none other than actually a drop shipping product. So by all means, I don't really kind of favor drop shipping anymore. I don't have drop shipping videos anymore. I'm more of an e-commerce store owner, a real brand that too. But one thing I wanted to kind of look into is a product which a bunch of drop shippers sell, which of course is the Blackhead remover. I mean, if you kind of open up the shopping tab, go on over here, you'll see a bunch of these products kind of appear with the same images, and that's because these are basically hammered in by by dropshippers. This product is bombarded by dropshippers. I feel bad for anybody that's a real brand trying to create a brand around this product. But there are some good examples out there, and today we're going to be looking at this example right here called by the store name of Dermavale. And I hope I did not just crush the name of that store, but nonetheless, this store does an amazing job of having a good shopping ad. Let's kind of go down our checklist of what a good shopping ad contains. Number one, volume of ad space. Clearly, they have a lot of different title keywords right here, which is helping them take up as much space as possible. They have reviews right here. If you hover over it, they have the return policy right here. They have free shipping, compared to something like Amazon did right here, where they just have the title Amazon.com and then there's nothing else. There are no reviews, no return shipping policy, etc., etc. So clearly Dermavale is making a great impression on a potential shopper just by taking up as much space as possible. But in addition, they're doing proper search engine optimization techniques. They have the brand name at the very top. Then they have all the important keywords: plasma pen remover, skin tags, moles and wrinkles, solo. These are all main keywords which basically people searching for a product like this need to have. And that's exactly what they do right here. They have the main keywords which kind of helps them rank up for the major keywords which again people are searching for. But in addition, their image, I mean, there is no other image right here with the competitors which can come even close to what they have done. Hence why I can almost guarantee you that even though this product right here is just basically blown up by a lot of different competitors, Dermavale is still doing a great job, and Dermavale as a result is probably getting a lot of these competitors and kind of stealing all of these e-commerce store owners impression share, click share, etc. Just because they have an image that stands out of the crowd from everybody, and as a result they can sell their product at a premium price because their image just kind of oozes this premium quality out. It makes a customer think that this is much more premium quality than something like this one right here. So obviously if I'm in the market for Blackhead remover, I might spend a little bit of extra money and I wouldn't even mind doing it just because of this premium quality right here. And then it kind of makes sense because if you go on their landing page, there's more premiumness to it. So you want to kind of follow the premium quality from the shopping ad to the landing page to really make a difference. But again, the pricing that's why more on the heavier side, but it's more on the premium side, but it still makes sense for them, and as a result they're still getting a lot of sales. But finally, the title again makes sense because it's good for the reader as well. Now moving on now to actually the search ad. If you notice, there's not much search ads going on right here, but that's one reason why when search ads like these ones come up, it makes it easier for the search ad that is taking up the most space to really get as much traction as possible. Now notice how even though this one is taking much of the volume of the ad space, this one is still the first one. So if we go back right here, this one was still above this one, and the reason for that is because they actually have reviews here, so they're taking advantage of all of the additions which are possible. But again, volume of ad space, very important. So if this one had more of the volume of ad space, this should have been on page number 1, but nonetheless they're still above their competitors. And this one, despite having volume of ad space, because they don't have reviews, all of that important stuff, they're not necessarily above the competitors. But in addition, copywriting, again, absolutely crucial to making sure people click on your ad for you to improve that CTR. But in addition, SEO, so having search engine optimization, the main titles, all the important stuff, and finally addition, so extensions, callout extensions, site link extensions, etc., etc. Very important for the search ad. But again, that was kind of a duo of the good shopping ad and a good search ad. Let's move on to the third and final example of a good shopping ad. So in this case, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna type in microphone because I want to show you guys an example of a product where, despite being very competitive, people find a way to stand out of the crowd. Their e-commerce store owners find a way to just crush it when it comes to getting sales. So for example, if we look at all of these ads coming up, and now the ad that I really wanted to show you guys actually appearing more towards the back, but it was the ad by a brand called Sweetwater, and I'm gonna actually use a special tool to search this up called isearchfrom.com because my IP address might just be kind of influencing the overall searches. And by the way, this is a very good kind of tip. If you feel like the results that are coming up are not really ideal or realistic, and just use iSearchFrom, kind of search it up to see if things change. So here, Sweetwater right here comes up right now. So that's exactly what I wanted to show you guys. So first things first, microphone, obviously one of the most competitive products out there to sell, but still Sweetwater does a great job. Now, volume of the ad space here, even though they're taking up much of the ad space right here, if we hover over it, they're doing everything right compared to a store like this one with Amazon. What I really like about this is the image, because all of these other images, it showcases the product fully in full capacity. However, with Sweetwater, they actually zoomed in on the product just a little bit more. So now your eyes don't really go on this one right here, or this one, or this one, or this one. They go straight up here, because this is kind of a different style of image of the same product or a similar product to what the competitors are selling. So really, Sweetwater did a great job of standing out of the crowd just by zooming in on the product, but also they included all of the necessary things within their ad. So the reviews, the 30-day return policy, the overall SEO, the title, it's written for a real customer and not just a robot, meaning the algorithm. So all of those things Sweetwater did perfectly well. But now moving on to the actual ad of an actual search ad that did a great job, we're gonna kind of search up something different. We're gonna search up microphone for singing. And if we just scroll all the way down, and the ad might come up here, it might not come up. That's just, again, the IP address influencing these things. But the ad that I wanted to show you guys is actually this one right here. So in this case, this is ranking last, but it's gonna change and it's gonna fluctuate depending on where you search it from, what time of the day you search it from, etc., etc. But the reason why I believe this ad is better than those above is because, again, the volume of the ad space is taking up a lot of different lines right here, so it's making it appear very big. So my attention didn't really go to these ones, it directly went to this one, and it has reviews, so it's taking advantage of those additions that Google often offers to its customers. But again, copywriting is really on point. All of the additions like SEO, the extensions, all of those things, this brand does really well. And that's one reason why their ad is probably getting a lot of extra link clicks and they have a higher CTR compared to ads like these ones right here. Now, I'm not saying these ones aren't doing good. They're probably still doing good as well, hence why they're ranked with this one. But I personally believe if you do your search ad like this one right here with proper SEO techniques, having all of the extensions, reviews, having copywriting done, then you have a much higher chance of ranking number one, even for the more competitive kind of products and the competitive kind of keywords. But so now moving on to the bad example of a product which I actually have tried selling before in the past, and this product is called the car bed mattress. Now, the reason why I want to kind of show an example of this is because right away you see a bunch of similar images coming up here. So that just tells you that you already know that these are drop shippers trying to sell the same exact products, trying to start price wars, just trying to kind of get the last bits of the pie, which is, again, not a good strategy at all. You should always be trying to stand out of the crowd. But there's a lot of examples of really bad shopping ads coming up here. The one that kind of comes to mind is possibly the one that you might not really be thinking of, and it's this brand right here. So for example, if we continue scrolling down, there's a lot of bad ads, but this one right here really kind of takes the cake for the worst shopping ad. And the reason for that is, if you look at the product, number one, it does stand out of the crowd, but it really doesn't showcase the product in any which way like these ones. Even these ones are better because it showcases the product fully. Looking at this ad, I don't know how big the product is, what the product is, if it's my size, if it's not my size, etc., etc. But also, there's too much distractions here. So at the top left, there's somebody's hand right there. There's that blue thing right there. I don't know what that is. There's somebody's hand right here. And there's just way too many distractions. It kind of ruins the attention of and makes my eyes kind of wander around, which is something you never want to do with your products. But in addition, they don't have any type of additional SEO done here. I mean, it's a very basic title. Of course, this is Amazon, but you better believe that a lot of Amazon's product don't have proper shopping ads techniques done, because again, they have billions of product. They don't have time to individually make their ads the best, hence why it's a lot of the times easy to beat Amazon. But in addition, they don't have reviews, return information, and none of that important stuff. So this really kind of gives this the worst rating possible when it comes to a shopping ad. You need to always find ways to stand out of the crowd. Again, there's better ways to do this. But now moving on to the search ad. What is the worst search ad when it comes to this product? So if we kind of scroll through, the worst search ad in my opinion would not be on the second page. It would more be on the third page onwards. And if we look at the worst search ad, it is actually this one right here. Again, this one, because it's not taking up enough ad space. There are good things about it, don't get me wrong. There's copywriting done, there's SEO techniques, etc., etc. You also have extensions, but these extensions, I mean, don't really make sense. Like, I don't care about their story, I don't care about their journal, I don't care about anything else that they might have written here. All I care about is the car bed mattress, and everything related to the car bed mattress, nothing else. So you want to keep in mind, if you're adding extensions, all of those important things, keep it relevant to the product. Maybe add car bed mattress accessories, car bed mattress colors, styles, different variations, etc., etc. Don't kind of wander off track. Don't do home decor, living room furniture, because I'm not here for home decor. I'm here for a car bed mattress. So you got to keep that in mind when you're creating those search campaigns. But that's basically a bad example of a search ad, but that kind of completes our good examples and our bad examples. Again, if you're doing anywhere around $30,000 or more per month in revenue with your e-commerce brand, you need a little bit of extra help to scale your e-commerce brand to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com, book a free call with me to see how we can possibly work together to make that happen. But if you found any type of value in this video, destroy that like button, destroy that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video.